Exodus chapter 3, verse 12. And Yahuwah said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship me on this mountain.
It's to worship you. I will worship you. Forever in spirit and in truth. When all is said and done, I'll still worship you. Before your judgment throne, I will worship you. Worship you forever in spirit and in truth. I will worship you.
Revelation 12, verse 16. And the 24 elders who were seated on their thrones before Yahuwah fell on their faces and worshipped him, saying, We give you thanks, Yahuwah Elohim, the one who is and who was, because you have taken your great power and have begun to reign. I will worship you, Yahuwah Elohim. I will worship you, Yahuwah. My Elohim, I will worship you, Yahuwah, my Elohim. I will worship you, Yahuwah. Will give you praise, Yahuwah Elohim. I will give you praise. I will praise your name, Yahuwah Elohim. I will bow my knee to you, mighty one. I will bow my knee. Yes, I will. To you, Every day I'll lift my voice to you. Oh, Most High, I will lift my voice to you. Oh, Most High, I will exalt your name. Yes, I will.
Almighty One, I will lift my voice and worship you.
Praise.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, yes,
Oh, yes, I will. I will worship you.
I will lift my voice. I will bless your name. Yahuwah, Elohim,
I will worship you.
Toda Father,
I will worship you.
Yahuwah.
Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We are your humble servants and hosts for tonight. I am Kayel, and I do have my young hunter, young warrior in our building tonight. Jordan, would you like to tell everyone Shabbat Shalom? Yes, we are on full tonight, man. I tell you, on Wednesday, I gave the call out for everyone that wanted to participate to fast. And tonight, as we discussed, we don't fast on Shabbat. Shabbat is the feasting time, and we really don't discuss fasting. It is something that is supposed to be between you and the Most High. But as we did our first call out to prayer during the time of atonement, in this time of such peril and such chaos going on in the world, that the Most High put it upon my heart to ask everyone that would be willing to participate to fast for the things that we discuss, for the covering of our households, for the spirits to be righteous around us, for us to have covering if they show up at the door, or if you're out shopping at the mall, wherever it may be, the Most High has you covered and your family and your loved ones in this perilous time. So, as we are moving through the book of Daniel, getting ready for our revelations, we have gone through 4 chapters, and tonight we were into 5 and 6, and I was getting precepts for it. I was getting precepts for this, and like I said, the title of the show is "The Spirit of the Most High," because you'll see in Daniel 5 and 6, the Spirit of the Most High shows up. His hand is the writing on the wall. Well, as I was going through that and getting different examples of precepts for this, the Spirit of the Most High, I came across this chapter, and the Most High told me to go ahead I mean, really, he has stuck it in my mind. Like every time I've tried to go somewhere else, he's been like, "Nah, you gonna say this?" So Ezekiel 28, it touches upon the spirit of the Most High, but it doesn't really precept and go into what we're discussing with Daniel 5 and 6. So we're going to start off with Ezekiel 28 tonight, as so says the Most High. So we're going to start off with Ezekiel 28 as he has yes, as he has propelled me to do so, or pushed me to do so. So let's get it in. I can't wait to see what he has me to say in this time. But since we do have a lot of scripture to get to tonight, we are going to hop right into it. We're going to blow our shofar to bring everyone into assembly, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a commercial here, so we're going to just play this for a second, let the commercial come in. And I'll express that, as we all know, so many things are going on in this world at its moment, right? So much tumultuous and terrible times are happening right now. We're witnessing the fall of Babylon. We're witnessing the ushering in of the New World Order. We are witnessing the earth in major travails as she has never been in our lifetimes or any recent thousands of years of lifetime, right? So when we are in these perilous times, it can be easy to get caught up in the world. It can be easy to have the world change your spirit. It is easy to be stuck to every update and every possible, especially when you're a watcher, you're trying to make sure that you got your family straight. You got all things covered. Does this tumultuous, this distracting time, because what we saw at the Capitol was theater. That was a full-on production. It was a deviation. It was to distract us. When you see the things that they did on the same day with Israel bombing and Iran putting in certain laws and the UN making certain steps, all this happened at the same time. This shenanigans happened, right? So it is easy because they're doing a really good job. They've been planning this for quite some time. They're doing a really good job in the distraction area. We have to keep our focus on the true power. We have to keep our focus on who has written all of this. We have to remember, and that's what the whole spirit of the Most High is about tonight. It's going to show different times where the spirit of the Most High showed up when man wasn't sure what was going to happen. When the spirit has shown up when the prophets have called forth the spirits to come. We will see tonight that we can never think that the power of our physical or material guns or whatever thing that you may have as your protection in this physical plane, it will never amount to the power of the supernatural, of the unseen. Well, there's a way to access that. And that's what Hebrew state of being is about. So let's go ahead and do our blow on the shofar. That's right, my brother. to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. And again, all the people that joined in the fasting, I want to thank you. And I know as we discussed it, it's the first time for a lot of you. So the process, you may not know, or you may have had some questions. If anybody got any questions about what they went through on fasting in these last 2 days, please put it in the comments. I want to answer those tonight, because a lot of things happen during fasting. A lot of things come to you, but you are to try and block out the world when you're fasting. You want to allow the Most High to be the one to speak to you. I know it's hard because we got families and we got jobs and we got all these things, but at every opportunity in the midst of your fasting, you are trying to uh, put yourself in a little seclusion. You're supposed to um, have nothing in your ears but the Most High and your meditation. As you get hungrier in it, right? Sometimes it will make your functionality, your processing, your mental processing, your analytics in your mind may run slower. You have to take an account for some of those things. You have to rest and drink much water. I did not tell you guys about drinking much water during the fasting. Forgive me. You must drink much water. Your body will cramp up on you. So those are just a couple of things. And like I said, as we get through the night, if anybody has any questions about fasting and how and what you should be doing or what your mind state should be in the midst of that, please type on in. But again, I want to really thank you guys for the ones that did do it. There was a major sacrifice unto you, unto the Most High, and He see you. Know that. All right, let's get to it. Ezekiel 28. Most High says you will. Whoa, what happened to my? Wow. All of that happened, right? Here we go. Where do I want to place my page? Get y'all right quick so y'all can see everything. All right. The word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Most High, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. So when we're looking at that 28, and we're looking at Tyrus, Tyrus is in the southern region of Lebanon. This is Ezekiel. Again, he was the one that was in the camps, the so-called, as we call them, FEMA camps. And Daniel was actually in the king's council, right? He was with Nebuchadnezzar, and then, as we'll read in 5, he'll be with his son Belshazzar. So here, we're talking about the same Israel in the same captivity. And this is now the king of Tyrus. And Ezekiel is to address him as Daniel is addressing Belteshazzar, right? And it says, Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom And with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By the great wisdom and by the traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers unto thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. So in Ezekiel, this is saying that the Most High is going to bring upon the worst of nations. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the sea. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God, but thou shalt be a man, and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Ooh, so you're not going to be a God in front of the person I'm going to send to kill you. Very interesting. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken it, thus says the Most High. Moreover, the word of Allahayah Yeshua Allahayah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Most High, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day thou wast created. Whoa, let's go back to that, because it says, Son of man, take up lamentations upon the king of Tyre, and say unto him, Thus said the Most High, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in the garden. Wow. So you're saying this guy, the king of Tyrus, was in the garden of Eden. Every precious stone was thy covering. Let's see. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of the Most High. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. Wow. So wait, we talking about the king of Tyrus? But he's likening the king of Tyrus to Lucifer. I mean, everything he stated, he said that thou was in the Garden of Eden. Lucifer the serpent was in the Garden of Eden, right? Then we drop down and it says, Thou art the anointed cherub. Lucifer was a cherub. Then it says, Thou was perfect in thy ways from that day thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. So this is definitely Lucifer, right? By the multitude of the merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of the Most High, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. We're still talking about the king of Tyre, because Most High is sending Ezekiel to tell this. He told Ezekiel to go into Lamentations to bewail him, to be in sorrowful, to let him know what he has done. And he has Ezekiel addressing the king of Tyre as if he was Satan. So it would seem that Ezekiel is not really talking to the physical being, but is actually talking to the spirit that is upon the physical being. And all they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be, I think I messed up. Thou hast defiled the sanctuaries. The brightness of thee, I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled the sanctuaries by the multitudes of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of them, in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Again, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Sidon, and prophesy against it. Prophesy against it. So now, Most High is in the same chapter, in one chapter, he has him going to Tyre and to Zidon, which is both in Lebanon, right? So let's look up right here. So Zidon, right? Sidon is the Greek name meaning fishery for the ancient Phoenician port of Sidonia, also known as Sadia, in what is today Lebanon, located about 25 miles south of Beirut, along the city of Tyre. That's what we see. He just sent the Most High sent him to go talk to Tyre, and now he's talking to Sidon. So all these are in the same area, right? Sidon was the most powerful city in ancient Phoenicia, and first manufactured the purple dye, which made Tyre famous and was so rare and expensive that the color purple became synonymous with royalty. Yeah, that's right. Because that's what we are. Judah is royalty. Their area of Sidon was inhabited as early as 4000 BCE. And Homer, in the 8th century, notes that the skill of the Sidonians in producing glass production made Sidon both rich and famous, and the city was known for being very cosmopolitan and progressive. The princess Jezebel, who later would become queen of Israel, as related in the biblical Kings 1 and 2, was the daughter of the king of Sidon. Right. She became the queen of Israel, of Yasharallah. Jezebel was the one that Elijah went back and forth with and killed 350 of their prophets, when he challenged them to see if their God could bring down fire to their sacrifice, and when theirs could not, the Most High brought down fire for Elijah and burned his sacrifice and consumed it in front of everyone. And from there, everybody bowed down and said, the Most High is the God of all gods, the King of all kings, right? And then from there, they proceeded to kill all of the false prophets of Jezebel. And it says, was the daughter of the king of Sidon, Ethabal, in the 9th century, and married King Ahab of Yasharallah to cement ties between the two kingdoms. The city is mentioned in a number of times of biblical, all right? So now we understand what we're looking at here with Ezekiel going to, let me give y'all a map on that thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. Two? Y'all don't give me a good map. Ancient. So South Lebanon, I thought they would give me a good one with all of 11:9. So as we see right here, you have Tyre is at the north and Lebanon is at the south. So Ezekiel is speaking unto both. All right. This is, and prophesy against it, and say, Thus said the Most High, Behold, I am against thee, O Zidon, and I will be glorified in the midst of thee. And they shall know that I am the Most High when I shall have executed judgments in her, and shall be sanctified in her. For I will send into her pestilence, a blood into her streets, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword upon her every side. And they shall know that I am the Most High. And there shall be no more a pricking briar unto the house of Yasharallah, nor any grieving thorn of all that are round about them that despise them, and they shall know that I am the Most High. I am. Thus saith the Most High, when I shall have gathered the house of Yasharallah from people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, then shall they dwell in their land I have given to my servants Jacob. Well, as we know, this is in exile. So the Most High had already given us our land, and we lost our land by falling to these false prophets. So now the Most High is saying, in come end times, that I will get them from the scattered, all the ones that have been scattered, and that are sanctified in them in the sight, and will sanctify us in the sight of the heathen, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen. We know that we are dealing with some heathens in this hour. You don't have to call a color. You can just look at the behavior. These heathens have been in control for quite some time. In New Orleans right now, there's a giant boycott going on, right, guys? Yeah, they're all boycotting Rouse's supermarket because the two owners of the supermarket was at the shenanigans, was at the theater. And now New Orleans is boycotting it. And there's many people that are talking about it, especially business owners that actually have business with Rouse's that happen to be melanated. And what is being said is that, hey, where else can we go? Like when Dixie is just as bad, they're half and half. Bromark is worse than Rouse's. They've been racist. Everybody know that. So they said, where else can we go and get food? Well, as I tried to explain to a couple of my brothers, is that this should be an indication that you're in captivity. The fact that you can't go and get food from a person of your kind, that you can't decide not to go with the chain, the franchise, when you look around you and you see that you are now boxed in by GMO Foods, Walmart, and by racist people that are serving you food. Does that give us a hint that we may be in captivity? Does that, I know you think because you go to the club on Friday and Saturday and that you ain't in captivity. You think that because you can, go in and out your house when you want to, that you're not in captivity. Yes. But what you have is a captivity that was especially designed, that has been cultivated through thousands of years. The enslavement, the disbursement of Judah and Yasharallah has been happening since 4000 BC. You don't think that the same people that have been oppressing us, the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, haven't figured out a process to make this thing easier on them and not as intrusive? You know, you don't think they ever thought about actually putting together a plan to make the black people enslaved, make them feel like they're in the Truman Show where they're actually free, but they're being watched, they're being guided, and they're being shut off from. And it doesn't feel like slavery because you ain't got no bars, but you can't go nowhere. You can only go where they allow you to go. Yeah, they got a lot of options for you in their world. When you want to get out of their world, you see how limited your options are and realize that you were in captivity the whole time. So, as I said to my brothers that have business with Rouses, and as we talked about on our last show, when Martin Luther King, after he'd gone through all of his trials and tribulations and realized that assimilating didn't work, when he realized that trying to be a part of the system didn't work, he then shouted for economic power. So as I told the brothers that have business and have products and Rouses, I said, your personal decision not to shop with these people is what you're supposed to be doing as part of building our community. Getting resources from the other communities is your business. That's two different things. Having your product in there for heathens to purchase or other like types of people that want to go to a heathen store, that ain't your business. You eat that. You get that. But you don't spend your money there. But we get so in our flesh that we think, oh, we're being attacked by our own people. We think that we're being attacked by our own people because our own people do attack us. Yes, it happens. But it doesn't mean that we have to revert to a two evil option. And what I mean by that is their option was to not take their product out, but the option to just say, y'all wrong for boycotting. You can't tell your community they're wrong for boycotting because you got products in there. Don't mix. We have to be clear on how we are going at this internal rebirth, this renewal of the nation of Hebrews. We have to be wise as a serpent, innocent as a dove. And the innocent of a dove part, do not forget about that part. It's very, very important. So in our last one, it says, and they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell in confidence when I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about. And they shall know that I am the Most High, their power. Now, when you read 28, it could be confusing. He's referring to the king of Tyre as Satan. He's he's including future prophecy saying that everybody is scattered and that everybody that has gone against and oppressed my people as they were scattered, they're going to be dealt with in the end. Then it says in the end that my people that are sanctifying me, everyone will be astonished at that. So this 28, Ezekiel takes a bit of unpacking to understand how the Most High is speaking unto Ezekiel and having him to prophesy to these, not only to these two kings, but to the future of Yasharallah, all in one. So when we talk about the power, the spirit of the Most High, many people think that this person is going to come out the sky and hug everybody, and everybody's going to be able to say, "I'm sorry. It's can you let me get into Shemayim?" Well, here it didn't say any of that. It said that the heathens were going to be. It says, "For I will send into her pestilence and blood into her streets, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst." So if the wounded is going to be judged in the midst, see, the ones that are following the Most High, not wounded. The ones that are full of this world, that's in this world, can get wounded in this world. And then you'll be judged in your wound. Does that sound like he's going to give you an option to say, I'm sorry? Don't sound like it, huh, Joy? You're going to get hit, and then at your hit, he's going to judge you. Your body, as you hurt, as you're bleeding on the ground, you will be judged. Your body will, as it says in our scripture, that your own flesh will testify against you at your judgment. So the good things that you did, your body will confess to that. And the iniquity that you did, your body will condemn you for that. And then the Most High Yahshua will make the judgment. Get out of these people and this new age religion that tells you or gives you the image that there's going to be some type of him coming out the sky and everybody's going to say, that's Yahshua. There he is. And he's going to say, my children, you believe now? Come on. It's not going to happen that way because false prophets will arise. That's why you see the king of Tyre, of Tyrus, being referred to as Hashatan, as the spirit of Hashatan. He had him speak to the king of Sidon, but he had him speak to the spirit of the king of Tyrus. Ooh. All right. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Now we got to get to, look at that. I got rid of my tab, y'all. That's all right. Yep, I prepared my tab for this, and they took it down as my fingers moved a little bit fast. Let me just say, my fingers moved fast. It closes the window down. These things happen. Yes, to the best of us, young Ock. Yes. Now we're gonna hop into our Daniel. Now that I've taken care of the Most High's business. Yes, sir. Get there to that Daniel. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I see Okula Muhammad in the building, Eugene in the building, Okada, Anyo in the building. I see Esther in the building, Scott Stays in the building, my brother, Ronald Green in the building, Ashley in the building. Yes. I know Alfred's in the building, Derek Dudney in the building, Orlando in the building, my sister Koti Tamar in the building, Trip in the building, Ty in the building, and my brother Yawan. Yes, sir. Let's get it in tonight, guys. Yes, all praises for that. You is to be right after your look after James or in the midst of look by James. So here we go. So as we're talking about the hand of the Most High, as you know, Nebuchadnezzar named and renamed all of the Hebrews, right? Daniel became Belteshazzar, but Daniel had a Hebrew name before that, right? But then it became Daniel for us Americanized people, and then now that became because I'm gonna take it out right now. You got what? Yes, you do. And Daniel is going to be right after Second Chronicles. Right after Second Chronicles. So even though Daniel's name, and then they have it in here, is Daniel, right? But the L we know is a very Aramaic name, and I'm not sure that would have been his name in the house of David. So we have several names for Daniel. We have Daniel, Belteshazzar, and the son named his son. Nebuchadnezzar named his son Belshazzar. All right. So it says, Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the thousands. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. So now you got the young buck, right? The young buck is now taking over for his father Nebuchadnezzar. He knows all the things that his dad went through, But now he's like, you know what? I'm the boss now, and I want to drink out of gold cups. I want to ball out. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and silver and brass and iron, of wood and of stone. I mean, they had an assortment of gods, you know what I'm saying, Jordan? They was making up gods left and right, you know what I'm saying? They had a factory, a different type of god. We're gonna make a short god, a tall god, a fat god, or what? Sacrificing to heathens, exactly. So in 5, it says, in the same hour, four, fourth fingers of a man's hand. So in the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Ooh. So out of nowhere, no body, just a hand. Hmm. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one another. So he was shaking in his boots, Jordan. That's what he mean. He was, oh my goodness. You know you done messed up right now, right? Then, it says, the king cried out loud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed in scarlet red and have a chain of gold about his neck. And he shall be a third ruler in the kingdom. Wow. See, when they talk in the Baptist churches about breaking the cycle, this is a cycle right here. This is a king cycle. Nebuchadnezzar did the same thing. You think his son would have learned from what his father did, but no. Soon as he got in trouble, he went to his Chaldeans. You know, that was the cousins of the Hamites. They're the cousins of Egypt or Put. Yeah. So these Babylonians, the children of Nimrod, they were quick fast to be fallen, worshiping fallen angels. So this Persian God, remember they're Persian kings, right? Nebuchadnezzar and all them, and they came and decided to then took over Babylon, seized Babylon by the Most High's hands. So now instead of him taking wise counsel, understanding what happened to his father went 7 years in the desert, in the dirt, eating grass, living in the staples with the animals, and then was brought back into his glory. You would think that his son would be smarter than that, but it doesn't seem to be. And that's happening today, right now. We refuse to learn from the lessons of our parents, from the lessons of our great grandparents, of our grandparents, especially from the prophets. They have a whole scriptures here for us to learn from their mistakes. And it says here, the soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed in scarlet and have a chain of gold around his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known the king the interpretation thereof. Then was the king Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king of his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in the kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy. the holy Allahayim. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom. And say, in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. So, this is the wife of Nebuchadnezzar. This is her son, right? He's in there with his wives and all his concubines showing out. And she's like, son, you know these things, right? This is what was done for your father. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. So he named his son Belshazzar, and he named Daniel Belteshazzar. Belteshazzar is the name of their god. Oof. So maybe the king loved Daniel more than he loved his son. Oops. That's not cool. Belteshazzar said, now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Daniel's interpret handwriting on the wall. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Yahudah? Why you want to play stupid? Right? You know doggone well who I am and who we are. Whom the king, my father, brought out of Jewry? Yes. I have heard, well, Jewry actually was out of Babylon because we were caught up in Babylon and he took us into captivity. So I have even heard of thee that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellence and wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto them the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. That's a serious thing to be said about somebody. You talk to that cat over there, you talk to that sister over there, they dissolve all your doubts. Anything that you was uncertain about, they can give you the answer. 5, verse 16, going to 17. It says, canst read interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom. Now, Daniel's already been elevated. Daniel got elevated, and he elevated his boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, a bad Negro, right? Abednego. So Daniel's like, I guess he should have been king, right? I guess when you are following the Most High, that it doesn't matter what happens to you. If you stand on that rock in your trials and tribulations, that hill, that light in you, will sit on top of the hill. It will change. Time will move spirits from away to where they recognize that you are walking with the Ruach HaKodesh. And it says, interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed in scarlet and have a chain of gold around thy neck and be the third ruler. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. You got to feel some type of way when you're a king calling in a prophet. And he's like, man, I don't want parts of your king, bro. Like, I'm good with all that. O thou king, the Most High gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for thy majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he whom he slew, whom he slew, and whom he kept alive, and whom he set up, and whom he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and died, took his glory from him. So it says, but when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride. That's how we can lose our crowns. By thinking we're too lofty or too much of anything, and then standing on it as the hardening in pride, is standing on our error ways, right? It says, and he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomever he will. Ooh. So Nebuchadnezzar had to realize that no matter what you achieve in life, the Most High has provided that for you. And though his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this. Oh, so the writing on the wall is saying, son, you knew all this. You didn't need your mama to come in and tell you. You didn't need anybody to remind you of the greatness and the glory of the Most High. You watched your father go through this. You were a witness to this. And yet you chose to be stiff-necked. You thought that this was just a little thing you could just slide this in. Just the vessels, just drinking from it, right? I ain't cursed him out or nothing. I ain't doing blasphemy. No. It's when we began to think about ourselves as being righteous no matter what. When we refuse to take any charge for what we do, we are hardening our hearts. And ultimately, it makes us wax cold. And then ultimately, it creates enmity, as they say in Sirach, chapter 7, I think, 6 or 7. So it says, but hast lifted up thyself against the heavens. Ooh. Say, Belshazzar not humbled his heart, and he knew all these things, but has lifted up thyself against the Most High in the heavens. So when you lift yourself up on this earth, the Most High is saying you're lifting yourself up against him in the heavens. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the Most High praised the gods of silver and gold and brass, iron and wood and stone, which we still do to this day. Catholicism is wood and stone. Islam is stone, right? Gold is also, they make the Yasha Jesus pieces in, right? Which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the Most High in whose hand they breathe is, and whose are all their ways, has thou not glorified. Ooh. It says, in the Most High in whose hand thy breath is. Yes, our breath is in the Most High's hand. And when we think not that, and we think that we are actually disconnected from the Most High, we refuse to look at our trials and tribulations as lessons, as times to go meditate and get right, to release all spirits. The spirit of the Most High in your meditation helps you dispel all other spirits around you. It helps the spirits that's inside you that's attacking you. The spinning this Shabbat, this 24 hours that we spend in commune with the Most High is just for that very reason, that we have a command on these spirits that come around us. We're going to have so many spirits coming around us in these days. So much is coming to us, from this contact tracing that they're going to be doing to the new profiling that they're going to be doing. People are taking pictures right now saying they took the vaccine. I want you to be clear about these people that are saying they are COVID. And I got a new antonym for COVID. It is cooperative valid ID. Cooperatives valid ID. When you take the COVID shot, you are a cooperator valid ID. So you are operating in their system. These people that took this shot, that's proud about it, they don't like you. They don't care for you and the fact that you don't want to take the shot. They ain't saying it to you, but they can't wait to the opportunity to oust you. You better trust that and know that with everything in you. It cannot get past us. Why? Because we hold the what? Scepter. That's right. So please understand that these very same people that have already jumped in the water, they despise the people because that haven't, because they've been getting hit. Everybody been telling them, don't take it. That's this, that's that. And they say, you know what? I don't care what none of y'all say. I'm going to take it. Or they had to deal with it in their heart and their minds at night and say, I got to take care of my family, so I'm just going to go and do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it. Those people are not happy with the ones that not going to take it and the ones that speak out against it, the ones that prophesy and speak in the Most High's name and says what his prophecy clearly states. So, as I said, you're going to be dealing with many, many spirits. And we need to understand that the Most High Spirit reigns over all and that he makes things happen that we cannot even imagine. Yes, it's in his time. It may not happen when we call upon it right then and there, but trust me, he's heard you. And if he hasn't answered you, it is because he wants you to go through this, for you to learn something, for you to get a lesson to come to be one up. All right, so it says 24. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mini, tekel, up, Hashem. Now, some say mini, mini, mo, right? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? But this is mini, tekel, up, Hashem, right? Up, Hashem. So this was the writing that was written by the hand on the wall. This is the interpretation of the thing, Mimi. The Most High had numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Ooh. It's like being heard your services are no longer needed. You've been fired, right? So it says, he's telling the young one that I just counted the end of your kingdom. That's going to be a wrap. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. Ooh. So, mini tekel means the Most High had numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes. Ooh, and Persians. Ooh. Yep. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put the chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. Even though Daniel didn't want it, they was like, no. Man, the Most High wrote this, your God wrote that. We saw the hand. We know no human did it. We gonna keep our word. You gonna get the scarlet, you gonna get this gold, but he's like he's sitting on destroy us, but in between time, we gonna be men of our words now. In that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom. being about 62 years old. 32 years old. Huh? 32 years old? That's not height. That's age. No. Age and height different. So now we're going to go to Daniel 6. Daniel 6. So as we're understanding, as we're reading this, as we've gone from Ezekiel, and we understand that Ezekiel and Daniel was in Babylonian captivity at the same time. We understand that the Most High told Ezekiel that he was even wiser than Daniel. Daniel is so wise with these men that they made him third in command. But Ezekiel never got to such heights. He was known as a prophet, but he never joined any kingdoms. And in fact, he put himself through so much torment in a time to show the people that they were going awry. But the Most High said, you know what? Yeah, you that guy. So and it says, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. Now, 120 princes, man, that's a lot. But now think about this though. At this time, this is supposed to be, king of all the world. When Babylon, the king of Babylon was the king of everything, the whole world. So when these guys took over their kingdom, they have a very large amount of space that they have to rule. So it says he's going to have 125 princes, right? And it says, and over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto him, and the king should have no damage. So as we bring in a whole new kingdom, Daniel goes from Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar to Darius, and keeping his place the whole time as he stands on the rock and stays in the spirit of the Most High. He is in captivity, remember. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. What? Because a spirit was in him, not him himself, but because of the spirit that was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find one occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So as Daniel is sitting there being heralded, being put third in charge, putting gold on him, at no point in time did he let it get to his head. He stayed humble and stayed in his work. He stayed humble and stayed in his work, which kept him in the spirit of the Most High. He stayed humble. He focused on his work. It kept him in the spirit of the Most High. That's a real Hebrew. That's right. That's right. That's a real Hebrew. See, the whole world can be given to you by the Most High if you have the spirit of the Most High in you. How do we get that spirit? The young hunter, the young warrior is correct again, following the laws, statutes, and commandments. As we are in this world, this daughter of Babylon, as these spirits going to attack, as the earth is going to traverse, as many men, as it states in Jeremiah, are going to travail as if they were giving birth. They're going to be pale-faced at the things that we are going to witness. You're going to need a healthy helping of the Most High's spirit. I pray as you were fasting, you were feeling that spirit. I pray as you were speaking unto the Most High that He was talking back to you. Because doing your work, staying in a spirit of love. Because remember, the Most High says that in this day that man's heart will wax cold or wax old, still meaning cold. To where the most gentlest man will be the most evil. Keeping our spirit righteous. Our Shabbat is for our cleansing of our spirit on a weekly basis. Shabbat is for cleansing and just getting out all evil thoughts, getting out all enmity, out all resentment, out all confusion. On Shabbat, you give it all to the Most High. Yes, my brother. And my man's on fire tonight. And commune with him. We are in commune with him, the cherubim and the seraphim, all the angels. Right now, we are in commune with the Most High and his kingdom. So it says, they could find no error. Neither was there any error or fault found in him, as only because he was crossing his T's and dotting his I's and not thinking he was more than anything. Because he understood no matter how high he got, Yasharallah was still in captivity. Then said these men, we shall not find an occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of the Most High. Do you see how they come? They say they can't get him on his work. They can't get him about being out in the clubs and doing silly things. That ain't what he does. So we got to get him concerning what he loves. We got to get at him from what he loves. He loves the Most High. He loves the law. We got to get him to go against what he loves. Yes. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto the king Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall speak, whoever shall ask a petition of any God or man for 30 days, save thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, when it states here a petition of any God, they're saying prayers, because prayers is petitions. We are petitioning the Father to hear us and to answer us. So it says here that anyone that is praying to anybody else that are not praying unto you, King, we're going to throw them into the lion's den for 30 days. I mean, for 30 days if they do it. If anybody does it within 30 days, we throw them into the lion's den. We have been living with multiple gods on this world forever. People have been following false angels forever. So we should not think that to be different in this day, even though we were raised following a white Jesus, even though we were raised as Gentiles, even though we were raised as Egyptians with divination through indigenous culture, right? Or we was raised in Egyptology or decided to be a part of the Egyptology thing. We don't realize that these are the false gods that have been here. Us doing it right now is nothing new. So you standing on the Most High like Daniel did, like Elijah will, then you will receive the same covering. You will receive the same Ruach HaKodesh. This is nothing new. And it says, now, O king, establish the decree and sign it in writing, that it may be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altered not. So you think that you got people against you in your life. This man had 125 of the princes, along with governors, along with counselors, all came together confederate against him, and he did nothing to no one. They say they found him without error. These men had to come together to destroy someone just because they were over them. Daniel wasn't going and telling them not to serve their gods. Daniel didn't care. Hebrews, we don't care. We want to be left alone to do what we do. Daniel is a perfect example of that and how we're supposed to be in this world. Not like no Christians and Bible thumpers and banging it on people's head. Daniel didn't do that. He was an example of the Most High. He let the Spirit of the Most High resonate in him, and whomever wanted to get knowledge, whomever wanted wisdom, whoever wanted to not have doubt in their mind, they went to him. That is what we're supposed to be as Hebrews and Hebrews in this hour. We don't need to judge nobody. That's the Most High's job. We have to make sure we keep the righteous spirit in us, no matter what the lesson, trial, tribulation, or reward is. All right? So it says, now, O king, establish the decree and sign in writing that it be not changed, according to the laws of the Medes and the Persians, which alter not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his Elohim, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before the Most High. They came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. So these little backstabbers, as soon as they saw Daniel praying in the window, ran up to the king. King, you know what happened? All that back talking and gossiping, right? He said, and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man shall ask? Excuse me. Says, O king, that Daniel, said, then came near and spoke. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any Elohim or man within 30 days shall save of the king, meaning other than the king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which alter it not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Yahudah, regarded not thee, O king, nor of the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So they really going all out with the rat. Like, nah, man, not only is he doing it, he's doing it 3 times a day. Now, this is the first time. Soon as he signed it, Daniel went and prayed. They went and followed Daniel right after it was signed. We ain't get nowhere close to 30 days, right? Oh, haters, boy. Then the king, when heard these words, was sore displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. So Darius, he did not want to kill Daniel. He knew how important Daniel was to him. He knew Daniel wasn't in cohorts with none of them other people. He knew Daniel could read his dreams and give him wise counsel. So when they said that they caught Daniel in a trick bag, the king was like, oh, no, not Daniel. I forgot about Daniel. I got so caught up in my ego that I forgot about my best man, my third in charge, Daniel. Daniel couldn't have been a Bible thumper if he could forget about it in that fast. Daniel couldn't have been making noise in Belshazzar or in Darius's kingdom about being a Hebrew and about what the Most High says, because he would have remembered that real quick like. So Daniel, as soon as he heard the decree, went to his prayer. These men assembled the king and said to the king, "Now, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed." Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said to Daniel, "Thy Elohim, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee." And the stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went into his place and passed the night fasting. Whoa! So yes, right, fasting. See, so Darius, who was not a Hebrew, right? Darius was not a Hebrew, but he understood the power of Daniel and our Elohim. So when Daniel went in, first they said he worked all the way till the night trying to save Daniel, trying to figure out a way around this law. So then when he couldn't do that, he prayed for Daniel and he fasted. He fasted. I'm telling y'all about the power of these things, right? So he fasted and said to Daniel that your Elohim will cover you. He said, thy Elohim whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his signet, and the other one sealed with a signet concerning Daniel, right? Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. He was up all night tossing. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in his haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living Elohim, is thy Elohim, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from thy lions? Then Daniel said unto the king, O king, live forever. Oh, we got this, king. You fasted for me, prayed for me. You knew what the business was. Our Elohim is in the building. We good, pimpin'. Yeah. My Elohim has sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. So what's the key? The key is to have done no harm, to do no hurt to anyone, to handle your business, and stay in the spirit of the Most High. And the lions then won't hurt you. Neither will the 7-time fiery furnace that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was put in. Yeah, we just read about it. And he says, then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his Elohim. Y'all get that, right? There was no hurt found upon him because he believed in his Elohim. I see they kicking y'all out the building. My brother Jeremy, Big Chief Black, is in the building. So it says, and the king commanded that they be brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them. Ooh, and break all their bones and pieces of ever they came at the bottom of the den. So the lions had a good time. The king threw the ones that came at him and told him all about Daniel. They received the same fate. Get this, that when you are righteous and you are prayed up and you are doing right, when people come to do evil against you, the evil will befall them. You have to do nothing. Your hands are clean. As we're talking about the hands of the writing on the wall. And it says, the king commanded that they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. Woo! You tell me the king wasn't mad? You trying to pray with my boy Daniel? You think he wasn't upset? Right? Daniel said, he said, not only am I going to kill these dudes that was snitching, that came up with this conspiracy, but I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill your children, your wives. Oh, yes. And the lions had the mastery of them and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. Peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the Elohim of Daniel, for he is the living Elohim, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall be not destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivered and rescued, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, whom had delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel proposed and prospered. So this Daniel prospered in the region of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So Daniel went from Nebuchadnezzar to his son Belteshazzar to Darius, then to Cyrus. And he prospered through 4 kingdoms, being in captivity, but being righteous. Yes, and let's get to and we're about to go to the Second Kings right here for this precept. Yep. Oh, you do? Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 6. That's right. Oh, this is going to be real interesting, man. Wait till you get a load of this one. So, this is Elijah and Ezekiel, right? I mean, not Ezekiel. Elijah and Elisha, right? So there was Elijah with a J, and there was Elisha with a S-H-A, right? Sha and Ja, right? Elisha was the apprentice of Elijah. Elijah, as we already know, was the one that killed all of Jezebel's false prophets. So here we are reading this 2 Kings 6:12 through 18 because we want to get another example of how the Most High brings the spirits to the aid of his children. So it says, therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing. And he called his servants and said to them, will ye not show me which of us is for the king of Yasharallah? And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Yasharallah the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. So the king of Syria is going off because he's trying to get at the king of Israel. And so his soothsayers or his people tell him, look, there's a prophet named Elijah that's in what's him called that's telling the in Israel that's telling the king everything you saying in your from your bedroom. So the Most High is giving Elijah the words to tell the king of Yasharallah. I don't know if Elijah knows that it's what's being said out of the mouth of the king of Syria. He just knows the Most High is telling him to relay this message. And he said, none, my Lord, but Elijah the prophet that is in Israel telleth the king of Israel the words that speaketh out of thy bedchamber. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host as an army, and they came by night and compassed about the city. So just to come and get the prophet, the king of Syria sent out a whole army to come and get just Elijah. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and had gone forth, behold, and a host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? So that's Elijah. When he comes out, he sees that he's surrounded by all of this army. And his servant, Elisha, saying, man, what we going to do? What we going to do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. You got to know that in your spirit. You got to read on how the Most High does his work to really know when you hear that, to understand how. I'll give you an example. In the Garden of Gethsemane, when Peter took out that sword and cut your boy's ear off, and Yahshua told him, man, don't you know I can have thousands of angels, host of angels here in a second? It wound up being like 72,000. I can have here in a second. So it says, and Elisha prayed and said, Most High, my Elohim, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Most High opened his eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah. So, oh, big chief in the building, Mohawk, yes. So, this is amazing, right? So you got a prophet that has a servant. Servant is trying to learn from Elijah the prophet. They're getting surrounded by a whole host of army. So Elijah, his servant, comes to him and says, yo, man, what we going to do? He said, man, we got more of us than we have them. And Elijah, the servant, is sitting there like, man, there's two of us. Say, bro, it ain't but two of us in here. And he says, so then Elijah prays unto the Most High that he would allow his servant to see what he sees. And he sees a mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah. And when it came down to him, Elijah prayed unto the Most High and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elijah. And Elijah said unto them, this is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek. But he led them to Samaria. So they came for Elijah. Elijah got the Most High to make him blind. Then he went out there and said, oh, yeah, the dude you're looking for ain't here. It's Elijah. See, I'm going to take you where you need to go and bring them to Samaria. And it came to pass that when they were coming to Samaria, that Elijah said, I was supposed to read to 18. That's where I was supposed to end it right here. Going to Elijah and under Samaria. Yep. I was supposed to stop right there, but I'm going to read this last little part. Elijah said, Most High, open the eyes. Wait, I'm sorry. Elijah said unto them, This is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to whom you seek. And he led them to Samaria. And it came to pass when they were come to Samaria, that Elijah said, Most High, open their eyes of these men, that they may see. And the Most High opened their eyes, and they saw. And behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. And the king of Israel said unto Elijah, When he saw them, My father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? So now remember, Elijah had been given all of the words to the king of Israel on how to deal with this king of Syria. The king of Syria got mad, comes down and swoops on Elijah. Elijah's servant is scared. Elijah prays to the Most High, show my servant how big and bad we are in the building, how we got nothing to worry about. And while he's doing that, blind them. He blinds them. Then Elijah walks them to Israel, to Samaria. He walks them to the king of Israel. And then the king of Israel said, like, whoa, you done brought me the whole king, the whole host of all the army of Syria? What you want me to do, kill him? This is how great the Spirit is. He said, and he answered, Thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with the sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink and go to their master. Woo! And he prepared a great provision for them. And when they had eaten and drank, he sent them away, and they went to their master. So the bands of Syria came no more unto the land of Israel. So no guns, no drawing, no nothing. The prayer and the angels, the unseen soldiers that we have with us when we are being righteous, that is fighting on our behalf, allowed us to take a people that was great enough that was going to come and take over Yasharala, fed them, and said, you know you got no wins, right? And they was like, we know. All right, go on about your way. I mean, if that's not gangster, I don't know what to tell you. I see my brother dying in the building. So now we're going to switch on over to, because we want to talk about, we're showing the Spirit of the Most High, right? Give y'all this from Hebrews chapter 1. We're going to go to verse 14. Yeah. It's in there. And it says, starting at 13, but to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Ooh. Yes. I'm going to go up. And as a vesture shalt thou fold them. And as a vesture, let me show y'all what the vesture means. Yeah. So it says, and as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed, but thou art the same, and thou years shall not fail. So then we go to the actual word of vesture. It's a Greek word. So this wasn't an original word that was written in our scripture because it has no Hebrew origin. So let's see what they call vesture. Yeah. Their definition is a covering crown. A covering throne ground. A covering throne ground, a wrapper, a mantle, a veil, right? So it's saying with this veil, right, a covering. Mm-hmm. So it's saying with a veil, they should be changed, but thou art shall stay the same, and all thy years shall not fail. But to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? And they, not all ministering spirits, and say, hold up, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? So in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14, it speaks about those same spirits that are following and watching us. They are ministering spirits sent forth to minister to them who shall be heirs of salvation. That's the spirits that we are getting in touch with in our meditation. That is when we are pulling ourselves back, when we are fasting. And like we said, you are with the King Darius, when he fasted, there was no music. He didn't want to hear any sound. Couldn't even sleep, right? So here, when we are dealing with these spirits that we're calling about, right? That these are sent here to minister to us. Their whole creation was to be there for us. We have these fallen angels, but originally they were the watchers that were supposed to be the mediators, the one that was supposed to listen to us and our prayers and give to the Most High. But they fell in love with us. They fell enamored with our women. They wanted to enjoy what we enjoy as flesh. Right? Yes. So we got new ones. We got ministering spirits, right? Let's go to our Proverbs. Yeah. Yes, it is. Proverbs 20. Another precept on that. We got to, man. We got to make sure we get understanding in this hour. It says, the wise king scattereth the wicked and bringeth the wheel over them. The spirit of man is a candle of the Most High, searching all the inward parts of thy belly. Mercy and truth preserves a king, and his throne is upholden by mercy. And the glory of young men is their strength, but the beauty of old men is their gray head. All right. So we understand that our spirit of a man is the candle of the Most High. So our spirit is the light of the Most High. They say candle, but it's the light of that candle. We are the light of the Most High. And that's how we're supposed to be coming forth, right? We are now going to Isaiah 48. Yes, we are. Now, as we've talked about tonight, we've been going into the power of the Spirit of the Most High. From the Most High Spirit showing himself in Belshazzar's chambers with the writing on the wall, to Elijah having hosts and chariots of burning fire around him, to deal with any host that was dealing with him, to the understanding of the Hebrews, and when we're speaking of ministering spirits, and then when we speak in our Proverbs, understanding that our spirit is the Most High. So just like in our scripture, it tells us that the spirits in heaven are constantly, the 24 elders are saying, Kodesh, 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 holy, 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 right? They are ministering to the Most High, holy, holy, holy. Our angels are ministering to us, be holy, be holy, be holy. So we can give your words and your prayers up into the Most High. And so it goes, so as we look at this Isaiah, all right, 48. We are now understanding about the house of Jacob, which is us. This is a dealing with us. It says, hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Yasharallah, and are come forth out of the waters of Yehuda, which swear by the name of the Most High, Alahayah Shur Alahayah, and make mention of the Most High of Yasharallah, but not in truth, nor in righteousness. So these are our brothers and sisters that scream his name all the time, but aren't there in truth and righteousness. For they call themselves of the holy city and stayed themselves upon the Most High of Yasharallah, the Lord of hosts. That means warrior, the head or the Aleph of the army, or the Almighty. Yes, that's right. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them. I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. So everybody talks about, oh no, we had the earth is 40 million years old. Right here in 48, it said that the Most High said, I created all things in the beginning, and it came through suddenly. It came out of my mouth. I spoke it, and it was. Because I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is of iron sinew, and thy bow brass, and that brow brass. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it to thee. Remember Moses, right? Moses sat there and accused all of Yasharallah. Said, you are going to go and do these things. So here in Isaiah, they're doubling down on it. Said, I have even from the beginning declared it to you. Before it came to pass, I showed it to thee. Least thou shouldest say, mine idol hath done them, and my graven image and my molten image had commanded them. Thou hast heard, see all things, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst know them, didst not know them. Y'all got to really hear how the Most High is coming forth in this moment right now. The Most High is telling them that I have given you guys all the knowledge, and yet you are still rocking with these images that I command them not, right? And it says, and thou hast heard and seen and see all this, and not ye declare it. I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. So the Most High is saying clearly, I've told y'all exactly what you were going to do. I told you how you were going to go into captivity. I told you how you're going to follow false gods. I told you what gods you were going to follow. I told you it was rock. I told you it was everything. And you still don't acknowledge it, and you still do it as if you never heard it. Remember, that's the same thing that happened to Belshazzar. Belshazzar was told by his mom, he saw it through his father, and he acted like he didn't know. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them. Least thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them. This Most High said, you at least say that you knew them. You may be breaking them, but you could at least say, I knew this was wrong. I just decided to go this way. Yea, they heard us not. Yea, they know us not. Yea, from the time that thine ears was not open, for I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and waste and wast and was called a transgressor from the womb. Oh, that's gotta hurt, huh, Jordan, to be called a transgressor from the womb? Oh, that's like being called can't get right. Like ain't nothing that they can do. You just can't get right. You just refuse to get it right. Right. So it says 9. For my name's sake, I will defer my anger. Most I say it's not for us. And for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off. So it says for his anger, he's going to give us grace and mercy, not because we did right. But if we do praise him, he will refrain from cutting us off. Oh, for cutting us off from his covenant and from our grace, mercy, and salvation. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. So that's why we're going through what we're going through. We were stiff necked, and now the Most High says, I'm going to fashion you through your afflictions. Since you are so prone to be in affliction, you don't want to listen to these spirits, you don't want to evolve your spirit, you don't want to bring forth this word to your family. Okay. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake, even for my own sake, will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. Most I say, I gotta come and snap on y'all because you can't, not my name. You're not gonna profane my name. Hearken unto me, O Jacob of Yasharallah, my called. I am he, I am the first. I also am the last. Alpha and the Tav. Mine hand also has laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. And who is the right hand of the Most High? Yasha, who's that known as Shaddai the Destroyer, and Yasha the Salvation. And it says, all ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them had declared these things. The Most High had loved him. He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arm shall be on the Chaldeans. You better believe it's going to be on the Chaldeans. And say, I, even I, have spoken. Yea, I have called him. I have brought him, and he shall make his way prosperous. Come ye near unto me. Hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning. From the time that it was, there am I. And now the Most High Elohim and his Spirit has sent me. So we are talking about the Most High and his Spirit has sent and said, come ye near unto me. Hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning. From the time that I was, from the time it was, there I am. Barakas. And now the Most High, Elohim, and the Spirit has sent me. Thus said Elohim Yeshua Elohim, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yasharallah. I am Elohim Yeshua Elohim, thy power which teacheth thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way that thou shouldest go. I know that was a little tricky with the words. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so glad that you caught it, my brother. But in here we are, Isaiah is speaking about Yasha and the salvation early. Like he's prophesying about this early. He's not saying Jesus, he ain't saying all that. He's telling you what he's going to come and do. And then it says, oh, that thou hadst hearkened to my commandments, then had thy peace been as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. There's that key, the commandments. Thy seed also had been as the sand, and the offering of thy bowels like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off nor destroyed before me. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans, which a voice of singing declared, ye, tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, the Most High hath redeemed his servant Jacob. Now, I know a lot of people may go in antiquity and say when they talk about these old days and say these people were the king of the earth, they still break it down to a region saying that was their whole earth. That was what they knew. I believe the Most High knows this entire earth. So when the Most High says that you tell this from every end of the earth, that means every man was on all parts of the earth. The Most High wanted to make sure that everybody heard it. And thy thirsted not when he led them through the desert. He caused the waters to flow out of the rock for them. He clave the rock also, and the waters gushed out. There is no peace, said the Most High, unto the wicked. Nah. So we clear, right? We should have our little checklist, right? Commandments, do our work, stay to ourselves, keep our spirit right, when our spirit is vexed, run back to our place of refuge, pray, get our spirit right, go back into the battle, humble, because the Most High is going to alleviate and fight those spirits that are attacking you. And if the spirits are allowed to continue to attack you, then it's a lesson that you must learn. Even if it's a light attack, you should try and figure out what is the lesson. Yes, it may be traumatic, it may be a drama, it may be some things, but what is the lesson here? I see my brother Tommy in the building. Yes. So now we're going to go on to our Psalms 103. That's going to end us out for the night. You know what I'm saying? Psalms chapter 103. Yeah. Yes, my brother Adam, that's being uncomfortable and growing from it. It is not easy to be in uncomfortable places. That's why we did the fasting, right? Because it's about being uncomfortable and still keeping our mind and focus on the Most High. And also getting our bodies ready to know how it feels to not eat, to know how it feels to be uncomfortable and stay righteous. We gotta have practice, man. No football team comes on the field and know what to do unless they've had practice. Why they not giving me my song? Say what? Oh, you know. Ah, sucky. Here we go. A psalm of David. Bless the Most High, O my soul, and all that is within me. Baraka's his holy name. And Baraka's his holy name. Baraka the Alahaya Shur Alahaya, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases. So not no COVID shot, right? Because the Most High does that, right? No CDC needed around here. Who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfied thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagle. The Most High executed righteousness and judgment for all that are oppressed. So we are oppressed, he's going to execute judgment. We are oppressed, he's going to execute judgment. He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Yasharallah. The Alahaya Shur Alahaya is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and plenteous in mercy. Slow to anger and plenteous in mercy. We're trying to be like him. This is what we're supposed to be. He will not always chide or chide, neither will he keep his anger forever. He had not dwelt with us after our sins. What? He had not dwelt with us after our sins, nor rewarded us according to our iniquities. So you don't have to thank the Most High when you get rewarded for your iniquity. For as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is his mercy towards them that fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far hath he removed our transgressions from us. Like as a father. Like as a father pitieth his children, so the Most High pitieth them that fear him. For he knoweth our frame. He remembereth that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass, as his flowers of the field. So he's flourished. I think that's 14 is a very important verse. And it says that the Most High knows how frail we are. He knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust. He gives us grace and mercy and forgiveness. All we got to do is come back to him. As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourisheth. For the wind passeth over it, and it is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more. But the mercy of the Most High is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children. So it is really simple, man. Instill the love and the fear of the Most High unto the youth. It ensures that your inheritance is taken care of. Instill everlasting righteousness and love and fear for the Most High to your friends and to your family, because as it says in James, it makes up for many of your sins and many errors that you have made, if you can turn anyone from their errors back unto the Most High. It says 18, to such as keep his covenant, and to those that remember his commandments to do them, not just to be able to recite them, not just to be able to talk about them like you know them, not just to be able to give a perfect response. Oh, that's my God, that's my Jesus. Yes, he knows me, baby. You have to know him. And if you're not doing his commandments, he will not know you. The Most High had prepared his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom ruleth over. Baraka's the Most High. Ye, his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his words, as we're talking about tonight. The Spirit of the Most High. The Spirit of the Most High is in his angels, it's in us, it's in this world. We just have to connect and stop having these blockages, these firewalls that stopping our connection to the Most High. Baraka ye, the Most High, and all ye his host, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. So it says, blessings unto the Most High and all his armies that minister of his, that ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Oh, praise. I see you talking, Ashley. I'm trying to catch what you're saying. Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to show their teeth and they're going to act differently. They know the truth. All of these heathens believe that. They know that they're Gentiles. And they really want to believe that the Khazarians in Israel are actually those people. But deep down, they know. If they do any research, if they care anything about their family, they know that Italians are Gentiles and that we are the chosen people, that we are the seed of Jacob. So yes, be careful. And you don't have to tell them. Like you said, Daniel didn't go around boasting who he was. He lived the spirit of the Most High. He was righteous about his steps and his thoughts and his intentions, and it was raised to the top. Baraka's of the Most High and all his works and all his places of his dominion. Bless the Most High, oh my soul. That's our show for the night. I pray that you guys have really understood the spirit of the Most High and where it lies, understood the key to unlocking that spirit, right? Let me see. Sons of Light. That's what I want. That's a nice song to go out here.
That was pretty good.
You think so, my brother?
I can't lie.
Huh?
So I can't lie about it.
You can't lie about it? You enjoyed it? Was able to keep it? All right. This song here by Sons of Light
If you work in a team, you should be.
It says, we see Yah's glory in the morning sun. We see Yah's glory when the evening comes. His glory is everlasting because his covenant is the sun and the moon. So every day when you wake up to that sun, you are in his glory.
2017, year of the push.
Yes, you
Sons of
have.
light. Order of Melchizedek. Fear God and keep his commandments or die trying. Father, have mercy on our souls. Show us the way. Forgive us for being lost.
I pray that you guys
Long live the King of
have got a
Kings,
great
Lord
meal
of Lords.
tonight. I pray that the Most High bless
Somebody
y'all
sacrificed their life for you.
all
So
the
tell me
provisions
what's
that
your
you
goal?
need to take care
Praying
of
for
all your
tax returns, but
business
not your everlasting soul.
for
Black
today.
folks, the salt of the earth, the lost all of our flavor.
They won't cut it hard.
Something major. Now we in danger. Chasing this paper and these
Yes.
wages.
So I pray that you guys have got everything in order. I pray that you are finding your spirit tonight. I pray that the Most High, just like Elijah prayed for Elisha, I pray unto the Most High that he shows you your angels, that he shows you his spirit, that you are communing with him in his 24 hours, that you feel his warm embrace, his hands around you. I do pray that unto the Most High on the Shabbat. Oh, yeah. See y'all on Monday.
I was sight, I holds it down about the crown until the day the tribes unite. 1 Peter 2:9 and 10, sons of light, we get
Yeah, got the fasting. You heard. Yes, my brother. I had me a little something to eat. Just throw it off. Can't wait to go get me something else to eat. Yeah. So good. Most High gave me strength, clarity, to make it through. Give all praise. My testimony, right? I see our glory when the day is done. Yes.
What do we have? Your empty heart with these empty thoughts. Don't know the half because the word was given to the wicked and his descendants. Christ is near us, and our prophecies will never fail us. And God seems to tell that he knows the ways of men, cause the ways of men, they patient, wavering in their faith again. I'm the only way that's in. Power giving me to wait their sins. I die for man, but man won't die for me. Eventually I'll cut them free. Leave them with this misery. Follow me, hollow me. I will put me where I should be in this world. Just follow me. The spiritual drunk, no, I am, but I am he. Let us make one that's in the image, cause the soul's the image since the beginning. Two choices given, death the living, backwards living, cause his own people live evil. One of the people, one with the people, war on his people. We just one and our people. We just puppets on the string playing Geppetto.
That's right. Great day tomorrow.